This is the plaintiff, Vaughn. He says he works at a big box store, and the defendant was a customer and they became friendly. One day, the defendant asked him to borrow money because his son was in jail. He loaned him $1,000. The defendant told him he'd pay him back in a month, but they got into an argument. He told the guy he didn't support Trump. The defendant does, and now here they are. He's suing for $1,000 for an unpaid loan. This is the defendant, Daniel James Jr. He says he and the plaintiff are both vets, and they struck up a friendship, and the guy was going to hire a lawyer and pay him $6,000 to file some Social Security paperwork. He told him he would do the work for him, and if he got him a refund, the plaintiff agreed to give it to him as payment instead of paying some strange lawyer. The plaintiff paid him $1,000 of it. Then they got into an argument about the Army versus the Marines. Next thing he knows, he's being sued for $1,000. He's accused of owing a friend. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for services provided and not paid for.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff works at a big box store and says the defendant, a customer, asked him for $1,000. But then he told the guy he didn't support Trump and he refused to pay him back. The defendant says the plaintiff gave him the cash and the argument was over Army versus Marines. It's the case of Team Trump or pay me.
Okay, so how did the two of you meet?
Well, Judge, I met him after retiring from the Army. After 32 years, I met him in Sam's Club, where I was the front-end manager at Sam's Club.
The two of you become friends. You had something in common, which is you both had military service.
Correct. What it was, he told me he was retired Marine, and as he know, I was a retired Army.
Hoorah.
Okay.
But after years to come from...
I'm sorry?
Hoorah.
Okay.
Marines.
Okay, I got it. Thank you both for your service. Go ahead. So go ahead.
After a while, I told him, hey, I'm going to stop working because, my injuries wouldn't help me to continue to work anymore in doing that. And
injuries that you...
From my military career.
Okay.
So what he did was one day he asked me to let him, he told me he had a son, and his son was married to a white lady, and the white lady had a baby from him, and the baby died in his son's presence. So when the baby died in his son's presence, he got prison time for it. But
Oh, you mean he had the baby with him when the baby died, so it was... I'm sorry. So did he kill the baby?
Obviously, that's what he was telling me. That the lady
he did prison time for it.
He's still
and
in
what
prison.
happened?
He's still in prison, from what I'm understanding.
Okay.
And the lady turned state evidence. The one that he had the baby from him turned state evidence and said that he killed the baby. She did not kill him.
Okay.
So he asked me to let him borrow. At first, I think he wanted $10,000 to help him out to get an appellate court, go through appellate court. It was his last chance.
Because this was because he had already been convicted?
Correct. And that was the last chance to go through appellate court to try and to get his son out of jail.
Okay. So you loaned him $1,000?
Correct. I told him I didn't have the $10,000 he wanted. He said, well, any little thing will help. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I'll let you borrow the $1,000. And he said, okay, I'll give it back to you in 30 days after I refinance my house.
Okay. So that happened when?
In July.
July of 2019. All right. And then you guys go along as friends. Everything's fine. Did 30 days come and go, and did he pay you? 30
days came and went. No judgment, Milian. He did not pay me. What happened was he did not pay me back. And then I called him up in September.
2 months later, and you tell him?
And I tell him, hey, I didn't mean to bother you, but what I wanted to know when you're going to pay me my money.
Did you text him or did you call him?
I texted him.
Okay, so can I see that text?
Sure.
Do you have it in your phone? I prefer to see it in the phone. So in September, you text him, hey, bro, I was waiting not to ask you about the money I loaned you, but I just needed to know. Can you give me a call or let me know when I can get it? Have a wonderful day and we'll talk soon. And that was September 26th, and there's no answer from him.
No.
But
he
I
called
presume
me.
You guys, that's what it looks like, because his next thing is, good morning, sir. Just checking in to see how things are going with you today. So obviously he talked to you. He called you and said what?
He called me and told me the refinancing that he had that it lowballed the refinance of how much his house is actually worth.
Okay.
So he did not get the money to do it, but he's going to pay me.
Okay. All right, so then what happens?
We still continue to have, the friendship between me and him, that we call each other back and forth. I think some of the texts you'll probably see on there that, he'll text me and I'll text him back and saying, how you doing? Good morning, It also even had a text in there sometimes when he even went up to really when he wanted to put himself in trouble. Say, for instance, he told me his wife had a rose bush that she wanted him to dig up, and she wouldn't dig it up. I think you go down further in there, and he wanted to kill her because he didn't get the rose bush done. He didn't do it because he was watching a football game, and she bothered him in doing that. So the things kept going.
Are you trying to get him in trouble with his wife right now?
What happened was I kept helping him out. Like, say, for instance, he had some events that the Wounded Warrior Project put on that he couldn't do it. What I didn't know was he couldn't.
I love that project.
You hear that, Young? It's the second time.
Are you out of your mind?
Who?
Did you just scream bull in my courtroom?
Nope,
Absolutely.
Wow,
Nope.
sure sounds like you did.
I didn't.
You do it again, and I will hurl you from the courtroom, service or
Hey,
no service.
hey,
So don't do it again.
Hey, look here.
Hey, wait
It
until
is-
it's your turn,
it
and
is
then
what
you
it
will
is.
have a chance to address what he is saying.
And
you don't yell
I
curse
said-
words
I
in my
said-
courtroom.
I didn't curse.
Oh.
I didn't curse. Just like the lady didn't say nigga
Hey,
on
did he
thing.
curse?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and not once, but repeated
Twice.
times.
Nope.
Yeah.
That I heard.
All right. Tell me what happens in December. You folks go on a trip.
In December, I went out and got a Mighty Oaks program. Mighty Oaks is an organization, like faith-based organization, like help members, people like myself, military members that has PTSD or TBI or anything in that area. They're trying to help them out.
So in December, you guys go on some field trip or a
Correct, in
vacation?
Mighty Oaks.
Okay,
And,
where did you go?
California.
All right, and he was there too?
Yes, I got him in the program that he could come out there and go with me to go to it. So when he got into the program and came out there to the Mighty Oaks program, he got into a thing with me because what it was is he said he loved Trump. I told him Trump was nobody to me of my hero. My heroes were John McCain, John Kerry, Colin Powell, and Norman Schwarzkopf. People that went in Vietnam era, served their time, and come back out and been citizens to make this world a better world than what it is. So he got really mad.
Okay.
And when I saw that he got belligerent, my best thing to do if I didn't want a confrontation, to step back. So what I did, I stepped back till the end of the program. At the end of the program, when the program stopped, I sent him a text message the day we was leaving California and told him to say, look, I just wanted to know when am I going to get my money, my $1,000 that you owe me.
The end of the trip was what day? December what?
I'm thinking it was December the 14th, I'm thinking, Judge Minion.
Okay. Good morning. I need the $1,000 I let you borrow a few months ago. I am short on some bills I have to pay. Thanks. And things go from bad to worse between the two of you, and you end up having to sue him because he pays you, according to you, nothing.
Nothing. Yes.
Correct. All right. Now, let me hear from you, sir.
Before they ever thought about PTSD, I was diagnosed with it in 1988.
Okay.
Unlike Mr. Vaughn, who, while we really in court, it's because of this.
What is that?
This is a toy soldier
Okay.
in a Jeep. These are probably more of a veteran than he is. Because how can you get PTSD from being a mechanic? He got up at the Mighty Oaks thing and gave his story. And he told us he spent 32 years as a mechanic. So I said to him, I said, dude, you're a fake G.I. Joe. That's what you is. You ain't no wounded warrior. How you a wounded? What you did, you changed the tire on the front line?
Don't look at him when you're talking.
But I'm saying, I asked him, what did you do? Change the tire? Change spark plugs on the front line? You ain't no wounded warrior. You're fake. But see, he ate his wife. Just like he told me he hadn't talked to his daughter in 10 years, okay? Told me his wife having an affair. Said she having an affair. So Mr. Vaughn goes around and takes free trips that any veteran organization will pay for because he don't want to be home, which is why we're here. Because
Well,
he's a
no,
fake, he's a
we're
fake
here because
soldier.
he says that you owe him $1,000 and you say he owes you $5,000.
He owed me
Explain that to me.
He owed me $5,000 because I did his Social Security.
What do you mean by that?
I did all the paperwork in his Social Security. To file Social Security, I filed it for him. He couldn't tell you what I put on it because I filed it as if I was him. So when his review come up, he gonna get his Social Security pulled. And then he ain't even got his cane because he run around the VA faking like he hurt, but he ain't bring his cane. So now the VA might find out that this fake soldier, fake wounded warrior, that ain't an issue from the VA. That's your personal thing that you showed up
Don't
with.
talk to him directly.
Anyway, okay.
Tell me why he owes you $5,000.
Because I went over to his house and I did every stitch of paperwork. I spent 7 hours over there. And the fee for doing Social Security is $6,000 in the state of Florida.
You mean if you hire a lawyer to do it?
Yes.
Yeah, but you're not a lawyer.
I got a master's degree.
That doesn't make you a lawyer.
I play one in Florida for all these guys that need help.
That's called a crime.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
No,
I
it's
guarantee
not.
to you it is because I am both a lawyer and a former prosecutor.
I know you're a
and
former
that's
prosecutor.
called
I know who you
unlawful
is.
practice of law.
Well, then
and
maybe I
it's
should
not
just go to
permitted.
FAMU Law
but
School.
did he say that again?
Maybe I should just go to FAMU Law School because I can get in.
Okay, well
FAMU.
that's lovely, but you didn't. So
But-
let me ask, you didn't, you're not a lawyer when you filed the paperwork.
But
So did he
I
agree?
agreed. We had an agreement.
That's what I want to ask.
We had an agreement
That he would pay you.
that he would pay me $6,000 if he got approved.
Can you prove that? That you had you had an agreement
Just like
with him?
he can't prove he gave me $1,000, I can't prove that he owed me $6,000
Well-
because we had an oral agreement that he was gonna pay me $6,000. And the reason I
That
did it
sounds like such a high amount of money. Why wouldn't you put something like that in writing if you had that kind of agreement?
because I thought I could trust this guy, but
Okay.
I couldn't.
Welcome back to the People's Court. This is veteran versus veteran. They're two former friends. Plaintiff says that he loaned the defendant $1,000. The defendant is saying that he more than paid him back by handling his Social Security work. Let's go back into the courtroom.
So on December 14th, he writes to you, "Good morning, I need the $1,000 I let you borrow a few months ago. I am short in some bills I have to pay, thanks." And then you say, "When you let me borrow the money," oops. Oh, I guess he can't prove it. "When you let me borrow the money," there's you confessing, "I told you 6 months I would give it back to you. And oops, I did not charge you a dime to do your SSD paperwork, which a lawyer would have charged $6,000. Please don't up the ante here of hostility. I need you to not laugh. "Therefore, you will get it back as scheduled, which is January." So in this text, you admit two things: that you borrowed $1,000 and that there was never an agreement to pay you $6,000.
I didn't borrow $1,000 from him.
Well, why did you say "when you let me borrow the money"?
Because he was bothering me when I was riding on a bus because my flight got canceled.
What does that have to do with saying "when you let me borrow the money"? Why wouldn't the thing you text? Why
of
wouldn't
it
the
is-
thing you text be? What are you talking about?
The thing of it is this clown, okay, he owed me $6,000. That's bottom line.
Man, I want allow you to text me long messages. You are an army mechanic, fake as a war hero. You have never given me but $1,000. So how is it? Now there's two texts from you admitting he gave it.
Exactly, because what I told him.
Exactly.
is
So
when he
why
give
is
me-
that not you committing
when he
perjury
give
60
me-
seconds ago?
When he give me my $5,000, which he owed me, okay, that's right, he owed me $5,000. But that's okay though.
Which you wait.
'cause
This
he
is
gonna
even
lose
wait.
his
Hold
Social
on.
Security 'cause he don't know
Giving
what's on the
me
paperwork.
anything but $1,000, which you really should have told me no. Told you no. Why? So then you must have asked him for the money. He should have told you no.
Because I told him.
As I told you, I'd pay you in January. But why are you paying him if the $1,000 was payment for the $6,000 and he owes you now another $5,000? Why are you telling him that you're going to pay him back in January?
I just told you, I made it up. I wasn't doing him. For him, sorry.
All right.
And he gonna lose his Social Security.
Okay.
He don't know what's on there.
Did you not see any evidence of this at ever in the whole time that you guys are friends?
Outbursts like he did?
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what was your feeling about that?
My feeling about it is, as soon as I get my money back from him, then I go ahead and cut the relationship between him and I. Simply
I
because
find in favor of the plaintiff, and I'm ordering the defendant to pay the plaintiff the $1,000 that he owes him and said he would pay in January and didn't in multiple texts. And as for the counterclaim, I find that the defendant is lying about a prior
I don't care
agreement
that you
and
find
that
out
he
lying.
just wants
Who cares?
to
Who
figure out a
cares?
way to not pay you your
That's
money.
why we're in people's court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Because that's what it is.
Well, in this lawsuit between two former friends, the plaintiff prevails. He's going to get the $1,000 back.
good for him.
That you owe him, you know.
No, I don't owe him nothing. He owe me $5,000.
Your text said
He
you
owe me
him.
$5,000. He know he owe me.
Okay.
But see, I don't do all that texting.
All
That's for sissies and cowards because they can hide behind the text.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. You must sign some documents out that way. All right, Mr. Vaughn. Well, you said if you get your money back, you're going to end this relationship.
It's definitely ended.
That it?
It's ended. It's
It's
gone.
over.
It's gone.
Okay. You learned something the hard way.
I learned a lot the hard way. You can never trust someone like him. I thought if I'm in a foxhole, I would have been able to get help from a prior Marine
Yeah.
that would be able to be there to help me, and he never did. So now there's nothing between me and him.
Okay. Go
Thank you
Army,
now.
right?
Thank you.
All right.
Go.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right. Harvey.
Okay, Doug. Well, look, it's not really a new world anymore, but boy, text messages change everything. What you write can bite you in the butt if you're not careful. So think about it if you're in the middle of a dispute, and be careful when you text.